I think I've had quite a few since I crashed out, I'm not going to lie. Made the most of that. But just that'll make November, December a bit harder, as always. But burning off all the Welsh cakes and the beers, but there we go.
Geraint, I appreciate your time today. I appreciate it's still probably pretty raw for you. So first of all, how are you feeling? How's our pelvis? How are you mending?
Yeah, so physically, I'm still pretty sore, to be honest. I think having Max probably doesn't help, just chasing him around. And I want to do it as well. And I think I end up just spending a bit too much time on my feet. And so, yeah, I'm still pretty sore when I'm walking. Like, I'm walking like real sort of like, got a bit of a gangster lean going on. But I've got like a crutch to help. But yeah, it's just going to take a bit of time, I guess, really. And then mentally, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Like, obviously the first few days were still raw, and like, you kind of just up and down. You like, at some point you forget about it, you know, you're with the family, whatever. And then when you go into bed, you start thinking, oh, what could have been, what should have been, and all this type of stuff, which is only natural, but at the same time, it's not useful, you know? So, but yeah, now I'm feeling a lot better. I haven't watched any of the race. I've just avoided it all. So yeah, just basically this next month, just sort of switch off completely and knuckle down again.
So it all happened so quickly. Do you remember the event? Do you remember going down?
Yeah, I remember it all clear as day, basically. Just, I remember sort of like seeing like this orange thing last minute, which was the bottle. And I think my front wheel might have just clipped it. So I remember just like my left hand sort of slipping on the bars. It didn't completely slip off, but I wasn't in control on my left-hand side, basically. And then the back wheel, that's what sort of took me down. I didn't realize that at the time. But yeah, I remember like sort of thinking I'd save or half saving it and like straightening up a bit and then wobbling again and hitting the deck. And remember it all. But there was this old guy who I landed at his feet and he tried picking me up straight away. And I was just like, whoa, slow down a bit. Like, you know, because I was obviously just breathing fast and just sort of like wondering, well, what's just happened, you know, because just like boom in a split second on the floor. And I remember feeling like a real dead leg. And it was the exact same feeling as when I fractured my pelvis in the Tour, like back in 2013. And deep down, I thought, yeah, this isn't right. I wasn't sure that it was fractured, but I just knew it would take a bit of time to recover whatever the damage was. But yeah, like I got back to my feet once I knew I could actually move my legs and stuff. And I think I hit the back of my head slightly, but the whole impact went on my left side and my hip. And then, yeah, got back in the race. And basically, I just tried to bluff it, really. I didn't want to go back to the doctor because I needed some painkillers, but I sent one of my teammates back. He brought them up to me. So I didn't want the other teams seeing me back there and thinking I was like vulnerable. And yeah, I just tried to race as we would do anyway. So staying right in the front, trying to look as normal on the bike as possible. But once we actually started the run into the final climb, I just knew straight away, like I just couldn't pedal with my left side basically. And yeah, I got dropped before the climb even started. And it was frustrating and it was hard, but you know, I just kept going thinking like, oh, you never know, I could be okay. You just have to finish the stage as best you can and then you just sort of reassess then.
As you were climbing Mount Etna, what kind of thoughts, what kind of emotions going through your mind? Obviously, you're hearing on the radio that you're losing all this time. You'd come into the race as the favourite to win the Giro. What's going on in your head?
Yeah, it was just the huge disappointment of it all. And that's all it was. It was just dark thoughts, basically. Just thinking like all that work that I'd put in, you know, because obviously the Tour was my goal going into this year. And then, like I've said numerous times now, I just didn't feel I was in the position to win that race. And I thought, you know, 6 more weeks and I can go to the Giro and try and win that, which was still a huge race and a huge goal. And so, you know, there was about 9 weeks until the start of the race and I'd seen my family, like my son and Sa, I'd maybe seen them like, it was less than 2, you know? So it's a hell of a lot of time away, like real strict. I was being told I was getting through every morning a plan of what to eat, like, and didn't eat anything else. Just stuck to that plan for like 6 weeks. And you know, the guy that massaged me at the race came out here and stayed with me, and just for massage and like food for training. And so it was just like me, my family, even like the team, you know, guys in the team, like committed 100% to me for that. And I got into the Giro in great shape, but then, yeah, for it all to just end as it did, like it didn't even really get going, didn't get a chance to show anyone how good I was. So it was just super disappointment. And that's what was just going through my head, all these different thoughts. And then the fact like, oh, the race, you know, I've got dropped before the climb. It's like this 18-kilometer climb, like over 10 miles. There's no way I'm going to lose just a few minutes. It's going to be, you know, over 10. It ends up being like, you know, 12 or something. And so then it's just the realization that the race is probably over anyway for the GC. So it was certainly one of the longest, it's a long climb anyway, but it was one of the longest climbs I'd ever done, I think, mentally.
It's nice to see you smile about it now, but obviously this accident happened in the neutral zone. From the footage we've seen, it seems like the peloton's moving very quickly. Was there anyone to blame for this? Do you have any bitterness after this accident?
Not at all, really. But I think looking back, there can definitely be some lessons to learn. Like, there's so many times where neutral zones are just mental. Like, for instance, in the Tour, if it's a windy day, and you know as soon as kilometre 0 when the race starts, there's going to be crosswinds and stuff. It's not neutral that you're racing, you know. It's just, you know, like in a Formula One, you all stay behind each other, and it's, you know, they're warming up their tyres, whatever, but they're still in line, and you kind of have to stay in that position. In the bike races, you're racing. There's just there's no different. The only problem is well, not the problem, but the only thing that's different is you have the judges in the car setting the pace. So yeah, for this, for sure, we could have gone a bit slower, especially because the reason the bottle was on the floor was because it was quite a bumpy road, and they just bounced out the bottle cages. Like it happens quite a lot, but obviously if we were going a bit slower, then the bumps wouldn't have been as much of an impact and the bottle wouldn't have come out. So yeah, I think definitely neutral zones could be a lot slower. But it was just unavoidable at the time.
Okay, right. What's the plan for you now then? Quarantining, I presume, at the moment, but when can we see you back on the bike?
Yeah, so, well, I've seen a specialist and they basically said that 2 weeks without the bike with no riding, and then another MRI in about a month, but just limit the walking and stuff. But it's the off season anyway, so, you know, it's just enjoy the time at home. I think it's just such a strange feeling because normally you finish the season, even if it's been bad, it's been tough and long. And this has, to be fair, certainly been long and mentally hard. But it's more, you know, you've done a lot of racing and you're just looking forward to that break. Whereas now, it feels like I was just about to get going, and now the season's done, and it's quite strange just not doing anything. It doesn't feel like I've earned this break, even though mentally I feel like I definitely have. But it's just that physical side and that sort of like, I haven't even got like shown people what I could have done. But that's just the way it is, and just the way this year is as well, really. And you got to keep it in perspective. You know, I think my troubles are minimal compared to what's actually going on in the world right now. So you just need to put everything in perspective and just sort of look forward now and look forward to next year and enjoy the beers. I think I've had quite a few since I crashed out. I'm not going to lie, made the most of that. But just that'll make November, December a bit harder as always. But burning off all the Welsh cakes and the beers. But there we go.
Well, I think you've earned it, mate. So yeah, thank you very much again for your time today, and from everyone at the team on Ciclo and all the viewers on S4C, we wish you a speedy recovery.
Cheers, Diolch.